afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alyssa Corum here, and I am joined by Ken Shreve. On today's show, we're going to break down the action in the major indexes, the Nasdaq having a nice up day today. And Ken, give us a preview of 3 stocks that we're going to be checking in on.
Yeah, sure will, Allie. Not such a great day for AMD stock, but Nvidia outperformed, and it's working on a nice base. We'll also take a look at Guardant Health and Yeti.
All right, perfect. But first, here's a look at the Nasdaq, which gained about 0.6% for the day. It was up more than that headed into the final about 30 minutes to an hour or so of the day, pared back some of those gains, but still a nice up day, especially good to see after that test of support at the 50-day in yesterday's session. And also just want to mention, we did have the S&P 500 closing down 0.3% and the Dow down 0.8%. So the Nasdaq clearly outperforming here today, Ken.
Yeah, a lot of nice movers in the stock market today, and you mentioned not a great close for the Nasdaq on Monday, but it did hold support at its 50-day moving average and closed off lows, and a nice rally today. Check the MarketSmith growth 250, a lot of really strong gainers. So today's gains did come in lower volume, it looks like, but we're closing the upper half of the range, and like you said, about a half an hour before the close, Nasdaq was close to a 1% gain, not quite, but faded off highs a little bit, but overall a pretty decent session.
So would you say at this point you're cautiously optimistic, or what's kind of the outlook at this point?
Well, it was kind of a S&P 500 traded in a very tight range today, but it really did not participate. It ended, I think, mostly flat or unchanged. Yeah, there's a look at the S&P 500 chart. Would have been nice to see the S&P make a stand at its 50-day moving average as well. It did not. We still have 4 distribution days on that index, so the market still looks a little wobbly, but definitely encouraged by a nice up session for the Nasdaq, albeit in lower volume than yesterday.
That's right. Well, a stock chart that reminds me of the action for the Nasdaq is Nvidia. We have a nice cup with handle forming here. There was a bit of a test yesterday at the 50-day, although intraday Nvidia didn't really look to undercut that level, but today a nice rebound from there, up about 1.9% for the day. And we do have still a little bit of lead time ahead of the quarterly earnings report expected to come mid-month in November here, Ken. But this is for sure one of the top stocks of the year, definitely a leader for sure. And it is holding some nice support here as it continues to carve out the space.
Yeah, still a lot of nice looking charts out there in the market, even though we are the uptrend is under a little bit of pressure here. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index was under pressure for most of the day. Of course, Advanced Micro Devices was in the news. It reported really solid earnings, but it also announced a widely anticipated acquisition of Xilinx, which is going to expand its data center business, which is a booming market right now for both AMD and Nvidia. But so back to Nvidia. This is I love the fact that this base has formed entirely above the 50-day moving average. This is just a really obviously a very strong stock in the market. The fact that the base held support at the 50-day moving average is positive, and you still has a ways to go to get to that 573.94 pivot. But like you said, earnings due later in November, and wouldn't be surprised to see another strong quarter.
All right, and moving on, let's check in on Guardant Health, ticker GH. A very strong day for this medical stock, up about 8.5%, slightly above average volume. We do have earnings coming up in 9 days, so maybe that is the only thing that might hold some people back from jumping in on such a strong day like we saw today, Ken. But what's your take?
Well, nice breakout over a trend line that you just highlighted. Let's switch over to the weekly chart, and this is just a really classic first test of support at the 10-week moving average. This comes after a breakout from a base. I think that was in September, I think it was when it broke out. But this is just a really solid company. The FDA recently approved the company's liquid biopsy test, and this really could be a game changer because this is a test that can actually detect cancer and tumors throughout the body with a single draw of blood. So it's a first of its kind liquid biopsy test. It really could be a game changer, and I just love the technical action of this stock. And like you said, earnings next week, and just a really solid day for the stock today.
Yeah. And last but not least, let's check in on Yeti. Ken, I know you like your mug. Maybe it's not a Yeti one, but that keeps your drink real cold. But we did see Yeti, the RS line, hitting a new high today as the stock gained almost 5%. And I think this is notable here since the stock isn't quite at new price highs yet, to see that RS line perk up. And this name too also has earnings in 9 days.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to highlight Yeti because of this relative strength line in new high ground ahead of a possible breakout over the company's October 19th intraday high. Obviously, a very well-known brand here. And yes, there are a lot of knockoff Yeti products that seem to work pretty well. And I have a few of them. I do not own any Yeti products, but of course, the company known for its coolers and beverage holders, very loyal customer base, and just love the relative strength line in new high ground here. And this is yet another chart. We would call this a possible setup day, and maybe getting into position for a breakout try here.
Yes, always good to keep things like this on your radar. And just anecdotally, I mean, I was in Lowe's the other day. I feel like we're talking about home improvement stores having a lot of foot traffic, perhaps. And Yeti prominently displayed in the checkout lines at the end of areas. So it sounds like that might be a popular strategy for them, that their distribution. But I'm going to be interested to see what they have to say in the upcoming quarter. And we'll have to keep an eye out for maybe their mix of e-commerce versus other sales for retail. But anyway, I found that to be interesting.
Well, great annual earnings estimates too for Yeti. So this is just definitely a stock to watch. Sales growth has been slowing in recent quarters, but I like the annual earnings estimates, and probably reason to believe that they'll be able to pick up sales growth in coming quarters. And one of many pretty good looking charts out there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But we are in the thick of earnings season right now. It's a very big week. It's only Tuesday. I think it's supposed to heat up a little bit more as the week wears on. A lot of notable names reporting on Thursday. And Ken, I know you and the rest of the team are going to be all over it.
Well, I mean, we have four FANG stocks reporting Thursday after the close alone. So I think Friday is going to be an extremely pivotal day for the market. We have results due Thursday from Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, just a whole bunch of earnings this week. So hopefully they'll be good enough to provide a catalyst for this market. But overall a pretty decent day for the Nasdaq.
Yep, that's right. So it could be interesting from here on out the rest of the week. But so grab your hat, buckle up. It might be a wild ride, but we're going to be there every step of the way, keeping you up to date and keeping our heads cool and being flexible with no matter what is thrown our way with these key earnings reports. But you'll find all of our analysis, not only on the show and investors.com, but also IBD Live. That's our daily morning live stream. If you haven't checked it out, Ken, a key member of that team. I also contribute, but we have a lot of great panelists every day, a really great mix of people on the show. We hope you check it out if you haven't already, investors.com/IBD Live. And once again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here tomorrow.